All right, everyone. So, we just did a little history of virtual reality and augmented reality, and you know, uh, you guys, what we're gonna do the rest of the day is we're gonna do a little bit of world building. Okay. We're gonna use this browser-based software. It's called framevr.io. It was kind of created to be sort of a virtual meeting place for businesses or schools and stuff like that. We're going to use it as kind of a very simplified world building tool before we get into Unity. Um, and the rest of I'll go over through this. So to work with Frame VR, there's a link to it in the module for today. Okay, there's Frame VR. And what you're going to want to do is set up an account, just like everything else on the internet. You can, I'm already logged in, so I'm going to log myself out, but you can use you have a Gmail account or, a Google account, you want to use that. You have a Microsoft account, you want to use that, or you can set up your own. You don't need to pay for anything. We're not going to use any paid services here. I set up a SF State account. you know, um, when you set it up the first time, it's going to send you a confirmation email like everything else on the internet. So just make sure to, click on it and verify it and that kind of stuff. So your environment's going to look like this. Okay. I'm going to teach you guys how to create what's called a frame in Frame VR. And we're going to be building a virtual world that eventually you guys will be able to view in your Oculus Quests. Okay. Um, I'm going to click on new frame. And the first thing you're supposed to do is give it a name. A little word of advice or warning. It only accepts name. So you have to name your frame or your world. You can call it whatever you want. There just can't be any spaces and everything has to be lowercase. Okay. So I'm going to call this Mr. Hurwitch World. Okay. You're allowed to use hyphens, but not other special characters like $ and that kind of stuff. And then you're going to get something that says environment. And if you click, this is there's some sort of pre-built environments that you can kind of play around with. All right. So for instance, I don't know, let's go Serenity Garden. Okay. So this is kind of a pre-built VR world that we can edit and add stuff to. And I'm going to hit new frame. You don't have to pay for anything. It's okay to use the free trial version. That's perfectly fine. When you come in, you're going to see something that looks like this. So these are meant to be meeting spaces via VR. In fact, eventually, if you want, you can, if other people in the class want to meet up in your VR, Frame VR world, you can actually do that and have up to 8 people meeting in. We tried this last class, or last time I taught it. It didn't work out great. It may have been because we were doing it on SF State's campus and the internet is kind of streaming slow, but you can welcome to try it. But anyway, you have to put a name for the character that's being added. I'm just going to call this Mr. Hurwitch and hit connect. Okay. So there's my character. You can see the name right there. Let's kind of just go through the interface real quick. This is kind of the socialization. So it's showing how many people are in the world or in the frame. There's a chat message. You can go to other areas. This is showing that my microphone is currently working. So if I was doing this through Frame VR, or even you can actually even do it through your notebook if you want. If if your computer has a microphone, which most do these days, you can turn your microphone on or off. You can take pictures and things like that. The most important for us today is going to be the edit mode that lets us edit what we're doing. Over here is this kind of general menus that you can play around with. So over here, I'm going to go to where it says frames. Okay. And the main thing here is under general. This is your name, your email should be here, and then the link is here. This link is important because this is how you're going to share your frame VR world with me and with other people. It's basically a URL, you know, kind of like when you guys would do websites and have a URL. This is the number of people. You guys are maximum to 8. There's a paid account where you can have more, but you guys don't have to do that. This is kind of settings for when people enter your world. Most of these are fine because I don't, you know, we're not really doing a multi-world testing, but if you want to play around with this would mean like the text shows up automatically, chat history shows up automatically, name, you know, names show up automatically, things like that. Under environment and role, we'll talk about some of these others later. They're not going to make a lot of sense right now. All right, so that's kind of the main thing here is really you know, knowing where the URL is. You can also have permissions, which is like when people enter, what can they do, that kind of stuff. So like if you could set it up that people could change your world if you wanted to do that, or you know, you can add other admins who are other, you know, have more than one admin, kind of like the way a forum has admins kind of thing. All right, so this is the world. And what I'm going to do is to show you guys how to move around. It's real simple. All you got to do to move around. So I'm using my mouse. I have a 3-button mouse here. And I'm just, you know, kind of circling around. So you see I'm orbiting around. You can also do this by using the left, right arrow keys. So left arrow kind of orbits counterclockwise, right arrow goes clockwise. The up arrow goes forward, and the back arrow goes backwards. Okay. What I'm going to do is change my avatar. This is my avatar right here, this little blue. It's considered a robot or an android. What you could do is go under profile. You can upload your own photo. That's what's going to appear here. You don't have to do that. I already did that. But if you wanted to, you could click set photo and upload a photo of yourself, or use your webcam if you wanted to do that. Or, you know, let's say I wanted to use this photo captured. All right, look at that horrible photo. Look at that. Technology. Okay. You could also change your name. I set my name to Mr. Hurwitz. Let's just say I wanted to change it. I'll call myself teacher. Okay. You can see that updated there. You can customize. You can customize the color. So I can get different color androids if you want to do that. You can also change the type. It defaults to Android, but there's also a human. If you choose human, I'm not going to go through every single setting, but you can see I have different settings like the hair style, the color, facial hair, outfit, you know, all kinds of stuff. I think there's like a way to randomize it too, if I'm correct. Maybe not. Yeah, here's a randomize button. There we go. Look at that flat top there. I'm going to save that guy. All right. So now I got a human that can walk around. So I'm moving around the world. Okay. You know, in this case, it's kind of a Zen garden type situation. Let's say I wanted to add or move something around. Okay, so I'm going to move a little closer to this tree. And I'm going to click on edit. Actually, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to edit this, but maybe not this particular item. I'm not allowed to edit anything. Maybe not. All right. I can't, I'm going to add some elements to this world. Okay. So I'm going to click over here and I'm going to go under inventory. Inventory is where we can add models. Okay. So let's say I wanted to add something to this world. I'm going to click on model. And actually, I lied. I'm going to go under frame model library. So this is like a set of existing models that already exist for this website. You can search by, type, like, so for instance, Halloween or Halloween based. Let's do Lunar New Year since it's almost Lunar New Year. And let's say I wanted to add this lantern. What I'm going to do is click on the little plus sign here, and you can see that the plus or the lantern got added into this world. I can walk up to it, walk away from it. Okay. If I'm going to close this temporarily. If you highlight it over on your left side, you're going to get some information about it. So this is a little bit kind of like when we worked in Blender or Unity, we would add 3D objects, and when we'd highlight it, we'd get properties of that 3D object. So for instance, like this is the name of it. You can rename it if you want. So I could call it like, I don't know, Chinese New Year lantern. Okay. If under position, scale, and rotation, what it means is I can change the position where this item exists in the world. Rotation, meaning I can rotate it, like rotating it like this or like this or like this. And I can change the size of it. Okay. So for instance, if I were to change, I'm actually going to use the built-in tools here, kind of like the way that Blender would have it. So I'm going to take this and I can move it around. You can see I can move it on the X, Y, and Z. I think this is the Z, right? No, sorry, this is the Y axis. This should be the X axis. And this is the Z axis. Okay. If you want to rotate, you can use this to rotate your item, or you can type in the numbers manually. So for instance, I'm going to set this back to 0. Oops, let's set this to 0. Okay, but maybe I want to rotate it. This is kind of on its side. So if it's upside down, that would be like 180, right? If I wanted to do that. Okay. And scale is, how large it is. One would mean like the default size of the model. So think of one like 100%. So like 100%, 100%, 100%. If I wanted it bigger, I could make it like 300 or, 3 times the size, not 13, but 3. That's going to be real big. Okay. Another way to do this, it might be kind of hard to see, but like if I zoom in here, you may not be able to see that zoom with my recording, but you see that little white dot there? That would also let you kind of scale it. So these are ways you could change, rescale your items, things like that. Let's say I didn't want to have this item in my world anymore. If this is open, what you could do is actually hit the little delete asset here, and then it's going to say, do you want to delete it? And I'm going to say yes, and now the asset is gone. Let's say I want to add another asset back. I could come back and add any of these assets. Okay. So you can use any of the assets that are in the frame library. We can actually also upload or first of all, we can make our own models, and we can actually upload our own models. Let's do with the upload first. So what you can do is, if you guys want to find your own models online, that's fine. I'm going to show you guys just one example here. By the way, I have some resources here if you want to look for. Oops, do I? Not yet, but I will add some more model directories there. Let's use the one Poly Pizza. There should be a link in the module here. Let's say I wanted to find a model. So I don't know. This is like a Zen thing. Let's just type in Zen. Let's see what shows up. I don't even know what's going to show up. Nothing. Okay. How about a bench? Okay. So let's say I want to bring this bench into frame.vr, framevr.io, I should say. And what I'm going to do is, you can kind of look at the model if you want to. Most of the models in this are pretty simple. They're not that big. I'm going to click on download, and What you want to do, if it's an option, you want to download it as a GLB. That's a type of 3D, that's a 3D model format that framevr.io uses. Okay, it's an open 3D format, so a lot of programs that can't work with like a dot blend or a dot 3D Max or something like that, or a dot Maya or something like that will work with a dot GLB. So let's download that. In theory, you would give license, you give credit. I'm not sure how I would do that in this particular world, but so let's say I wanted to upload this. So if it does come down as a GLB file, what I could do is go over here under models and click on add. And then I'm going to click where it's this thing that kind of looks, this little addition symbol here. This lets me upload. And you can see I'm allowed to upload what are called GLBs, PLYs. I'm not sure what these other, to be honest, I've not run into these other two. There are other 3D formats, I'm sure. I'm just not used to them. And I'm going to go find that, which is bench.glb. Okay. So say optimize, say add to inventory, and then I'm going to hit add model, and it's going to upload the model. When you're done, I'm going to hit this, and actually I should have hit back. And if I go back under inventory, under models, you can see that this has been added to my world. Okay. Now I haven't added it to my scene. It's just kind of, I have the opportunity to do that if I want to. I'm going to click here on the plus side, and then there's the bench. Okay. If I want to, if I want to be able to move this around, make sure you're in edit mode, which is this little pencil down here. And I'm going to click, and I can move it around and scale it and do all that good stuff. I'm going to get out of editing mode. Oops. Let's turn it back on. Okay, it's a little small. Let's make it a little bigger, I guess. I must admit, it's hard for me to do the scale from their little widget. Oops. Nah, I don't know. Like 1.5, maybe? That seems a little better. It's still kind of big. I'm such a stickler. That's better. All right. So, what I want you guys to do, set up your account, try picking out a world, try adding some objects, try going to something like Poly Pizza and finding an object and downloading it. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys what to do if the model is not a GLB. I'll also show you how to make your own models in Blender. I'm assuming you guys have a basic understanding of Blender, and export it into the world. And then we'll also talk about adding in audio. Okay.